The CDC is attempting to gain control of two separate Salmonella outbreaks at the same time. The first Salmonella outbreak, which was linked to cantaloupes grown in Indiana, has resulted in 178 cases in over 21 states, including 2 deaths in Kentucky. Then, just 2 days later, a second outbreak caused by mangoes grown in Mexico is known to have infected more than 100 people and led to a recall of over 1 million mangoes, leading many in America to question, is enough being done to protect our food supply from contamination?
So cantaloupes, mangoes, we've heard about salmonella infections coming from many sources over the years. Eggs are a very common source.
Because usually you think of them as raw or undercooked meat, poultry, like chicken. So it's kind of, when you hear about it in fruit, it's sort of like, what's going on?
Well, what happens is with fruit, for instance, say fruit is grown in a field where there's manure to fertilize it, and maybe the manure is from animals that have salmonella bacteria, and then they get on the fruit itself, and then you get that beautiful cantaloupe, and there's salmonella on the outside of it, and you cut right through it, and you get the salmonella right in the middle of it, and then you eat it. That's how you get sick. It's called fecal-oral transmission, but it's a very common cause of food poisoning, because if that salmonella lives on that fruit or any other vector, any other produce, spinach we've heard about before, it hangs out. It lives in larger quantities. When you ingest it, you can get a very severe gastrointestinal illness. It affects up to 40,000 people per year, sometimes obviously more. And the symptoms you're going to have primarily from salmonella are GI symptoms. Severe diarrhea, you may have fevers, abdominal cramps, which can lead to, at times, life-threatening dehydration and feeling systemically ill. That's why, as I always say, if you have severe diarrhea, I don't care what's causing your diarrhea. I really don't. I just need you to promise me that you're rehydrating whenever you're losing. If you have a big stool, loose stool, you have to bring back in what's coming out. So make sure you're rehydrating with fluids. And by fluids, I mean water, electrolyte beverages. I'm not talking about rehydrating with, sodas and things of that nature.
And that's why in other
countries,
countries,
it can be serious.
Diarrhea is a common cause of mortality, especially infants and things like that.
Worldwide, millions of babies and young children die from diarrhea, dehydration. People at most risk for a severe case are the different ends of the age spectrum, young infants and the elderly. And then, of course, anybody that with a decreased immune system, you're going to have a higher risk of a severe case.
And that category includes pregnant
women as well, yeah. And it just so happens that children are at the highest risk of that, and kids under 5 actually have the highest rate of diagnosis of salmonella, probably because when they get a little sicker when they get diarrhea, and they're more likely to get tested to get that positive result.
Right, so then you know more often that it's salmonella.
I mean, most adults, you get diarrhea, you don't even go to the doctor.
Right.
Right?
Unless you're really sick.
The only place I want to go when I have diarrhea is the pot.
just go sit in the bathroom.
You can't even think of being moved.